Hi, kitty cats. So, I'm just gonna move my phone over here. Today, I'm gonna do a face mask for a Mask Monday. This is the Lychee Face Mask from Hanalei? Not sure how to say it. Apply face mask over cleanse face, leave on for 15 to 20 minutes, remove face mask and results. The usual. Sometimes they're a little bit different, but most of them are pretty basic. Ugh. Sometimes you leave them on longer. Sometimes you do things a little bit differently. Like, most of them tell you to massage the serum in. Some say pat. Some don't say anything. They say to rinse it off. This one's pretty juicy, but I don't feel like it's overly juicy. It's not dripping. I'm just having a hard time finding where to unfold. That's like really hard with these things sometimes. It's like, where are the folds? It all looks the same and you don't want to rip it. So sometimes it's a little difficult. Oh, and of course. Okay. No, not right now, dude. I am gonna, it was just my ex-husband. Which I don't have any major issues with at this time. It's just, I just don't. We're doing this, and I highly doubt it's an emergency. If it was, then, you know, he will text me. So, here we go. I'm gonna have to lift this up a little bit. Here we go. It's cold. And it's really hot out today, so I'm okay with that. That this face mask is cold. Seemed to got it on pretty well. Just trying to make sure I've gotten all of it on in the right spots. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna put this on now. Okay. A little bit got in my mouth. I hate it when that happens. Sometimes I think about just cutting this part off. I know then this area wouldn't get the mask, but sometimes when you have it like there, you know, it gets into your mouth and that's gross. It's gross. So, yeah. This is cruelty-free. HanaleigCompany.com from Honolulu, Hawaii. But made in Korea. Okay. So it's a Korean face mask. Not shocking. Almost all sheet masks are Korean, so. Because I believe that's where the idea for sheet masks came from. That's where it started. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the deal. I'm really not liking how the mask is shaped around the mouth. But, so 15 or 20 minutes. I'm gonna set a timer for 15 minutes. On here. There we are, timer. Start. There we go. We've already had it on for like a couple minutes, so that's good. Oh, so life is crazy for everybody out there. And I'm gonna try and not talk about stuff that's too serious, because I know that people come here to like catch a break, you know. And I've already said stuff on my Instagram many times about how I feel about many things. So if you want to know about those sort of opinions, go onto my Instagram stories, and I will often, you know, talk about my opinions on political and non-political subjects. So, and human rights subjects. But for this, I'm just going to try to relax, and I will tell you about my health. It's been very odd. They gave me they upped the dose of my infusion medication, and now it seems like it's working less than it was before. Which was kind of why they upped the dose in the first place, was because it wasn't lasting as long as it should have. And so they upped the dose, and now I don't know what they'll do. I've sent a message through the portal to my doctor, and they, so far they think they just want to keep an eye on me for a little bit longer, because it might be stress related. Apparently there are a lot of patients that are having trouble with their medications right now, and so he may have to up the dose, or we may have to go more often again, because at this point I'm at every 2 months or every 8 weeks, and they might have to change it to 6 weeks, or even earlier than that, to try and get it working. It was working somewhat, it just wasn't lasting as long, but this last dose didn't really last that long at all. Like, it's been a couple weeks and now it's starting to not work, and that's like really upsetting that it would start to fade that quickly when they upped the dose of medication. But it could be, from talking to other people, I have a support group, and from talking to other people, it could be stress related, that sometimes medications don't work as well because, you know, of the stress that's being put on your body, from your mental state. And my mental state, like almost everybody's, is just like, because there's just so much going on. And I'm very paranoid about certain things these days. It's just been rough. You know, I have an autoimmune disease. My daughter has cystic fibrosis. It puts us in a strange position. And so we pretty much are at home constantly, unless we're going to a medical appointment. And it's kind of rough. I'm used to being at home most of the time, but I'm also used to having people over a lot, and I can't do that right now. So that's been a little bit difficult. I try to do video chats with people to keep my spirits up, but sometimes I just have days where I'm just really, really down, and it's hard. And social media does not make it easier. But I want to be on social media because that's my only way to really have contact with people. But at the same time, there's so much that just is so depressing and brings you down so much that it's very hard. I know a lot of you are going through these things as well. Because the world is in such a state, which I said I wasn't going to talk about too much. But I guess, you know, the thing is, everything's connected, so. But if we can't get this medication to work anymore, I may have to switch to another one. Either they'll probably try and make me go every 6 weeks. They might up the dose again. I don't know. I don't know how much of this medication you can take. Because, you know, there are usually limits onto how much medication one can get of certain medications, and I don't know what the biggest possible dose is. And so, yeah, I've just been like, why isn't this working? Which is probably causing me more stress. That's the truth. And my daughter is, you know, she's taking things as well as she can. She's started working on some art projects. She's making resin jewelry. She's somebody just, it's just my daughter and her friends. We're all in like a chat room together. And it's going off. So, yeah, it's just that thing's gonna drive me crazy. We're all, you know, John's working, and that sometimes is difficult too. And my here's the story. My more recent thing. My dishwasher broke again. Okay, the one that I just got like a couple months ago that my friend got for me. So the part that goes onto the sink, it wasn't staying on anymore. It was popping off. And I like had a little meltdown. Cause you know, it's the little things that get to you when there's so much going on in the world. And you're so stressed out all the time. It's those little things that just make you like lose it, because they're what's holding you together, you know. And my dishwasher is one of the things that keeps me sane. So I was doing dishes by hand. We called like this handyman guy that I've used for years, doing my clothes washer and my dryers and stuff. Always been really great, but they were kind of weird this time, and I don't know if it's because of COVID or what's going on, but they were very like, oh yeah, we'll try to come out, we'll take a look at it, we'll try and fix it. But he was like, but I don't know if we'll be able to. And I was like, well, I think it just needs this new part, like, but you know, you just have to look at it and then order the part and then put the part on. I don't really have the tools to put the part on. And I said, I got the money, you know, don't worry about that. Just, and literally, these guys are so close to me, they could literally walk up here. That's how close this place is to me. So I didn't hear from them for like a week. And so I called, when it was about a week and a half, actually, I called and I said, hey, what's going on? And do you know when exactly the time will be? And they were just kind of like, yeah, we really don't. We don't know. And then they were just like, but we'll try to get there today. We'll try and fit you in. And I was like, yeah, it won't take very long at all. You know, you just gotta look at the part so that you know what part to get. And I was like, it's the part that just goes onto the faucet. And they're like, yeah, okay. And it was just really weird, and I was like, okay. And they didn't show up. So after this weekend, after the 4th, Sunday, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. My daughter makes a lot of dishes, and yeah, she was trying to, but for the both of us to try and keep up with them was just like, we're not used to it. And I know that isn't really a good excuse, but it was just, she's doing her things, and I'm, you know, we both have health issues that keep us from being able to do like as much as we would like. And I was just like, okay, you know, it hurts my back, it hurts my hands, it's making the arthritis worse. I would get really fatigued. It's like, gosh, you gotta fix this dishwasher. I was like, John, just look at it. I'm like, they probably have this part at the hardware store, just look at it, right? And he was like, okay, fine. And he put it back on the sink and turned the water on, And by the way, he had tried to do this many times himself, and it's just started working again. So for 2 weeks, we've been thinking that the dishwasher doesn't work, and it was. We don't know why that one day it wasn't working. That one night where it kept like just popping off the thing. It wasn't clipping onto it right. We don't know why. We don't know what happened. John thinks there must have been some grease on the faucet or something. I am just like, I never noticed any grease, but whatever. It's working again now, and it's put my sanity back together. Because we've been using like paper plates and paper bowls and stuff, which I don't really like doing, because, you know, it's, although here you can put those in the compost, town compost, so it isn't as big of a deal. But it was just like, this is ridiculous. We should just be using our regular plates and bowls. But we were trying to make as little dishes as possible. Like, a lot of times I was trying to make dishes that didn't use, I was like, I don't want to make a meal that's going to use a lot of stuff, because I was trying to contain the amount of dishes we would end up with, and it wasn't always working out. And the grill lost fuel on the 4th, because I was gonna at least cook hot dogs on the grill. I wasn't really into celebrating that much this year, but I was like, love hot dogs on the grill, and couldn't even get that done because the fuel ran out on the grill. And John's gotten new fuel for it now, so that's all, you know, worked out. I think we're almost done with this. Yeah, we're almost done. I'll be over soon. So, yeah, that's some stuff that's been going on. And I know it's kind of like silly. You know, lots of people do their dishes by hand, and I get that. And I was doing them by hand. It just was causing me pain. And my daughter was doing hers by hand. And we were doing it, but I just didn't like it. And I was like, we have this huge dishwasher that my friend just got me. Like, this can't be happening. Like, you gotta fix it. I'm already under enough stress. So it's fine now. Don't know why it acted the way it did, but it's fine now. And just cross our fingers that it doesn't ever do that again. Or maybe when it does, we'll just give it a break for a day and then go back and use it again. I don't know. This doesn't really smell like lychees. Have you ever had a lychee? I think we had them in one of my YouTube tastings once. We got some lychees. I think we did. I would love to do it again. They're so delicious. If you've never had a fresh lychee, try and find some sometime. I can't remember when exactly they come into season, but I've even seen them at Walmart before when they're in season. So check like the tropical fruit area of your grocery store and see if they have any, because they are so yummy. I had them canned before, which are okay, but having them fresh are really, really delicious. It's so good. So yummy. So if you've never had lychees, you should totally try them. They're kind of like, they kind of have almost a grape-like consistency, but the flavor is very different. And it's just very sweet and tasty. I love fruit, so the only fruit, I've only have one fruit that I don't like, that I can think of off the top of my head. And a lot of people are usually surprised, but I don't like pears. I like the way pears smell to a certain extent. It can be overpowering though and remind me of the taste. It's the texture of pears are so like grainy and just, or, you know, they're either grainy or they're mushy. There we go. So I can take this off. And I don't really care for the flavor that much either. But the texture definitely turns me off. Ooh, looks like I was bleeding. There's a little blood on this. That's odd. Okay, yeah, right here was bleeding. Okay. So, massage it in, it said. Okay. So, well, so far what I can say about this mask is I like the fact that it's got a good amount of serum, but not like dripping. I didn't like the shape around the mouth, but that happens with a lot of them. A lot of them I don't like the shape around the mouth. Fix this a bit. And I really, there was no scent really to it. And you know I tend to like scented things, but this, having no scent was okay. Like, sometimes no scent kind of weirds me out. Like, I like the aromatherapy of skincare. But this was good, I think. My skin feels very light right now. And cooled off, which it's a soothing mask. And why? My glasses just don't want to stay clean. So I think this was a good mask. It came with another one that's papaya, that's hydrating. Usually I go for the hydrating ones, but I was like, no, this time I'm gonna go for soothing because my skin's been very red and just going through a lot lately. So I think that helped out. So that's it. So please remember to share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. It really helps me out when you do that. And otherwise than that, you know, just do your best to get through. Just do your best. Bye-bye, kitty cats.